So I'm going to show you how to make my Sea Wall shawl, and we're going to start with a slip knot. You can make your slip knot any way you wish. This just happens to be the way I make mine. We will chain 4. And I've worked my chains quite loosely so you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to join those 4 chain to create a circle with a slip stitch. And as you can see, we have a space in the middle. We're going to chain 3. And before we go any further, I'm going to put a stitch marker into the very last chain I have worked, which is the top chain of our chain 3. Now we're going to work into that centre space we've created 3 treble. Now we're going to chain 1 and work 4 more trebles into that centre space. So we now have a chain 1 space with 4 trebles of either side. Our first chain 3 counts as our first treble. And there's a stitch marker in its top so we can identify it easily when we come back the other way. We're going to chain 3. This counts as the first treble of our row, and we're going to put a stitch marker in the top. We're now going to turn our work so that we work into the top of the row we've just crocheted. We're going to work 2 more treble into that very first stitch of the row. So we've worked 3 treble into the first, 1 chain 3, 2 treble equals 3 treble into the very first stitch of that row. So that's our increase stitch. We're now going to work 1 treble into the top of each of the next 3 trebles. We've reached our chain 1 space, so we're going to work 1 treble into that space. We're going to chain 1 and work another treble into that very same space. Now, again, we're going to work 1 treble into the top of each of the next 3 stitches. So now we've reached the last stitch of the row, which was the chain 3 of our beginning of the row previously. and we're going to work into that top chain. So we're going to take that stitch marker out and we are going to work 3 treble into that stitch. So that was another increased stitch at the end of the row. The next row we're going to start our double treble crochet cross stitch. So this is a taller stitch. So this time we're going to chain 4. This is going to count as the first double treble of our next row. So we're going to turn our work so we can work into the top of the row we've just crocheted, and we're going to work 2 double treble crochets into that very first stitch of the row. So this time we go yarn over twice into the stitch, pull yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, and we're going to work another double treble into that same stitch, and this time to make our double treble cross stitch we're going to work a double treble, yarn over twice, we're going to miss the next stitch and we're going to work into the next one. We're going to work another double treble, but this, put your thumb on the top to secure the yarn. We're going to go behind the double treble we've just worked and into the front of the stitch that we missed. So we have created a double treble cross stitch. I'm going to work 2 more. Miss a stitch, another double treble, now we've come to the chain 1 space and we're going to do another double treble crochet into that chain space, yarn over twice, chain 1 and another double treble crochet into that very same chain space, and we're going to do another 3 double treble crochet across the top there. So yarn over, miss 1, our final double treble crochet of the row. And now we've got to the final stitch of the row, which is marked by our stitch marker, and we're going to work into the top of that stitch 3 double treble crochet. And the next row we're going back to treble. So we chain 3, turn our work another 2 treble into that very first stitch, and another one, so that counts as 2, and then we work trebles all the way along the top of the next stitch of this row. And then we get to the chain 1 space, 1 treble in the centre, chain 1, another treble in the centre, and we work the rest of the row 1 treble into the top of each of the stitches until we get to the end, and 3 trebles into the end stitch. So this is basically how the pattern progresses. We'd start off with a treble row, then we get to the double treble row, and then we work 5 rows of treble, and we do another double treble row. Each time we complete a row, we have increased our row by 6 stitches. And that is a very, very simple design, but there are things that can go wrong and be very annoying when that happens. So I have also made a little video on troubleshooting and where to spot any mistakes that might happen. So I hope you enjoy making the shawl. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to this short tutorial on how to work the picot edging on my Sea Wall shawl. Now there are quite a few different ways of working a picot, but this is the way I've used. And so first of all, when I've come to the end of that last row, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work so I'm working across the bottom of that row. I'm going to work 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Now I'm going to chain 2. This is going to form my picot, and I'm going to do a slip stitch into that loop here. And then I'm going to do a double crochet into the next stitch. And as you can see, that's created a little picot stitch. So now it's 1 double crochet, 2, 3. I'm going to chain 2, and again those 2 loops I'm going to work into the front loop, and I'm going to slip stitch to secure the picot through that loop, and then I'm going to do a double crochet into the next loop, into the next stitch. And we work all the way along until you get to the end. If you want a bigger picot, then just chain 3. And again, those 2 loops I'm going to work into the front one with a slip stitch just to secure the picot down, and then carry on again with a double crochet. And as you can see, I have a larger picot. It's entirely up to you what you do. It's your shawl, and whichever you prefer, you can choose. Hello and welcome to troubleshooting for my Sea Wall shawl, which is basically all about things that can go wrong, and it's very disheartening when it goes wrong, especially if you can't always see where it's gone wrong. So here are just a few pointers to look out for. Many of the mistakes will happen in the cross stitch, the double crochet cross stitch. One thing is that, as you can see here, there's actually just 1 double crochet in 1 stitch. I haven't missed a stitch. I've just done 1 double crochet, and then I've carried on to the next stitch, missed a stitch, and done a double crochet cross stitch into that stitch. The other thing that, and see, I've done it twice here. The other thing that can happen is that you can do a double crochet into the next stitch like this, and then work the second double crochet for your cross stitch, but you go behind and you work into the same stitch that you did before. So you end up with 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. That will put your count out too. So look out for those 2 things. Then we get to the end of the row, and what may happen then is that I'll show you, you do a double crochet or treble into the chain 1 space. You do your chain 1, and then you completely forget to do the second double treble or treble into that chain 1 space and carry on as usual. That can put your count out too. Now, having a stitch marker obviously will help you. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful to you, and enjoy making the shawl.